Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Diego, and today we have Blurple versus RubyAmethyst. I'm using the same Blurple list as the last video. So far it's going so good, but I think I will add second star to the right because I've seen that card do crazy things, and it's quite the game changer. It can turn games around real quick. So my opponent starts by playing a Rafiki. Louis, play a Royal Guard and pass. My opponent inks a Madame Elephant, quest for 1 with the Rafiki, and after playing a Queen of Hearts and passes. I ink a Sven, play a Tipo, ink a Mystery card. And I definitely have to take out that Rafiki. I can't let my opponent widen their board too much, even though I know that the Queen of Hearts is 100% gonna banish my Royal Guard. My opponent plays Bell, transferring 1 damage to my Tipo from the Queen. I ink a Baymax, play a Scrooge, my favorite 4-drop. Sapphire 4-drop, that is. And here I leave the Tipo ready because I don't want it to be an easy trade, an easy banish for my opponent. That would be a big tempo loss for me. My opponent plays another Queen of Hearts, passes. Especially if I quest with my Tipo, my opponent can just banish it. And then alright, like at this turn I'll play a 5-cost character because we ramped, and on my opponent's following turn they'll be at 4 ink, allowing them to play Be King Undisputed, and I'll have to choose between my Scrooge and the character I played on turn 4, and I haven't gotten any value from those characters, so I would not want them to be banished. So pretty much Tipo right now is just serving as a scapegoat. I'll play another rider, and then quest with my other rider because he has evasive and none of my opponent's characters do. So I'm feeling pretty safe now. Also, if you saw my opponent play the Mother Gothel, that card is pretty insane. The way it can move damage before the challenge actually connects. And in some cases saving the challenging character from being banished or trading because they moved that 1 damage brings a lot of value and could change the tide of the game for sure. So I'm questing for a total of 2 with both riders since my opponent doesn't have a evasive character out yet. Here I exert 5 ink for a Bell, transferring that 1 damage back to the Bell. Playing tag here. And if I remember correctly, I do not want to quest with Tipo or Scrooge, so I just pass. Because quickly my opponent can say they can like challenge with one of their characters, move the damage, and Scrooge is gone, and yeah, it just snowballs from there. Opponent inks Finders Keepers, plays a Peter Pan's Shadow. Now those queens are evasive. Challenges into a rider, dealing 2 damage and moving 1 damage from the other character onto the rider, so he actually took 3 damage. Then banishes the rider and deals the 1 and moves the 1 damage to the other rider. At least I'm pretty sure that's what he's trying to do. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta get rid of that Mother Gothel ASAP. It's a really big threat. And it has 1 strength, 4 willpower, so it's not that easy to take out. Quest for 1 with the Rider. Putting me to 4 to my opponent's 4. I ink an Into the Unknown. Since my opponent isn't really exerting anything, it's kind of just sitting in my hand, so I might as well ink it. I think I just passed there. My opponent plays an Elsa. So this Elsa's ability is you can exert her, and then you exert any chosen character. So the moment my opponent plays this, we might as well just quest out with everything, right? Because whatever we don't quest with or exert, they're probably just gonna exert for us, and we're not gonna get any value from that character. So I ink I ink another Rider. Would have been my 3rd Rider in my hand. I'll play a Hades. Finally get rid of that Mother Gothel. I quest for 1 with the Rider, putting me to 5 to my opponent's 4 lore. Tipo still somehow hanging on. Yeah, and I just quest out with both Belle and Scrooge, putting me to 9 to my opponent's 4 lore, and still leaving Tipo ready. My opponent plays a Luisa Madrigal, exerting Elsa to exert my Tipo. Shadow takes out Tipo. Luisa takes out Rider because it has evasive because of the Peter Pan's shadow. Then Belle goes ahead and sings Be King Undisputed. I banish my Belle because its stats are lower than Scrooge's. So yeah, see, we didn't exert our Tipo, and I wonder how long our opponent had the Be King Undisputed in hand. And finally we get to showcase Sven. When you play Sven, you choose a character, give it -3 strength, and he also has rush. And that's what I like about all the 5-cost characters I have in this deck that I'm playing on turn 4. They all help the 4-cost character I played in the previous turn stay on the board, and also supports them in banishing and controlling the board. So here I'm just, I feel pretty confident in just questing away from now on, because I know that whatever I quest with, my opponent won't be able to just take on. So my opponent goes ahead and scoops, and game 2. Here we go. So yeah, we're always looking for ramp, and if we find a 1-cost character in our initial hand, then we just keep that and send everything else back. Alt everything else back. That's the correct Lorcana terminology, altering. My opponent inks Madame Elephant and plays a Diablo for turn and passes. I ink a Rafiki, must mean I have another one in hand, either that or a Royal Guard. Yep, there goes the Royal Guard, and I pass. My opponent plays a Rafiki, quest for 1 with the Diablo, trying to get that card draw because he knows that banishing Royal Guard with Rafiki is pretty much free next turn. I ink a Baymax, play a Sail the Azure IC, ink a Rider, play a Rafiki, banish the Diablo with Royal Guard. Pass. My opponent inks a Break Free, a card that gives one of your characters Rush after taking 1 damage. My opponent plays a 3-cost Elsa, the one that you can exert her to exert another chosen character, and then they banish my Royal Guard with their Rafiki. I play a Rider, banish their Rafiki with my Rafiki Wars, and pass. My opponent inks a Rafiki, plays a Genie. And they challenge into the Rafiki, receiving no damage. I think what my opponent was setting up here was Rider challenging into Elsa, banishing her, and then Genie finishing off the Rider next turn, and then potentially having a Bell in hand. But nope, Sven comes down, Rider takes no damage, and that trade-off can't go as planned. At least that's what I think they had planned. So they play a Genie, draw a card, and then both Genies take out the Rider, and they pass. I'll play a Scrooge, quest for 1 with Sven. He has enough willpower to withstand a Genie hit, so we feel pretty confident there. My opponent plays an Elsa, transferring 1 damage to Sven. And they play a Queen of Hearts. My opponent's going to quest for 2, putting them to 3 to my 1 lore. And they pass. I got Hypnotic Strength. Haven't seen a Iago all game. And I'm just going to quest for 3 here, because if my opponent wants to crash into my Scrooge, he's more than welcome to. He'll eventually banish the Scrooge, but it'll take at least 2 of his characters. And Sven, I don't even think he had enough, but he wouldn't be able to quest at all. I would just take up all turn, just challenging into my characters. So my opponent plays Madam Elephant, bouncing his Genie, and now he's ready to start making power plays with that Elephant, transferring damage. Especially if he has Bell in hand, he can transfer more if he challenges into the Scrooge. So both the Queen and the Bell take out the Sven, and then my opponent passes. I'll play another Scrooge. And right now I'm thinking I really don't want that Elephant to crash into my Scrooge, and then for a shift Bell to come in. So I'd rather just play it safe and pass. Because these kind of games where both players are running control decks, it's all about board control, and you never want to lose control of the board, because that's how you lose the game. My opponent plays a Genie, drawing a card. And I think they're worried about the same thing, since we're both running Amethyst. That Bell could be lurking in any of our hands, so we don't want to exert to lose the tempo of the game. So here I play Hades, removing or inking the Elephant, and now we can safely quest, because we know that crashing into one of those Scrooges will send his characters to the discard. So they play an Elsa, exerting the Hades, and then they play a Lumiere. Lumiere is also an annoying card to go up against, because you always have to remember that it's there, and you don't want to think you're able to banish a character without banishing your own character, and then it ends up being that both it's actually a trade because Lumir gives all the other characters +1 strength. So right now we're close. My opponent's at 7 lower, I'm at 8. Ike into the Unknown, playing an Elsa, exerting. Definitely want to keep the Genie exerted. I'm just trying to decide if I want to freeze Elsa or Lumir, but Lumir definitely seems like the clear option, but I'm just thinking, when you're in the moment in the game, you think about it like 4 times over and over just to make sure you're making the right decision. So yeah, so I end up inking the Lumir, banishing the Lumir, because I saw it as the biggest threat at the moment, just in case my opponent has another Luisa Madrigal come in, start banishing characters. And they choose to just quest it up. After playing a Shadow and a Rafiki, I play a Hades. I think the best answer to remove here would not be the Genie, it would be the Peter Pan Shadow, because it would make their other rush characters evasive, and if we have a ton of opposing evasive characters, it could be a nightmare real quick. My opponent plays another Mother Gothel and a Luisa Madrigal. But we're already at 17 lore, and if they choose to remove our characters, they'll be removing their own board as well. Because Double Scrooge and then Elsa, they're pretty big characters in both willpower and strength. But hey, there's Mother Gothel, so a lot of math is required with that card. But it does a good job at controlling the board. So Luisa Madrigal will trade with Scrooge. 1 damage will be moved to the other Scrooge. Rafiki will trade with the Scrooge. Another damage will be moved, and then finally Genie trades with Scrooge. Then Elsa takes out Big Elsa. Look at that. All because of Mother Gothel. It's a crazy card. I quest for 2, putting me to 19 to my opponent's 8 lore. And then I play a Bell, hopefully securing the game. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have an answer to it. But either way, both characters that are on my opponent's side don't have enough strength to remove either of my characters. And I believe there's just 1 card in his hand. So we're feeling like we can reach the 20. Reaching victory. Yep, King Undisputed. We banish the Bell and my opponent scoops. GG's, Blurple takes the match. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you, and happy questing. Take care.